Hello again. Welcome to Scotty's Playtime. I'm Scotty. I'm sorry for the sudden cut. I meant to hit pause by automatic response. I hit the stop. I have no way to edit these yet. I don't have an editing program. The one I used to have, they won't let me redo it because at a time my computers were being attacked. Excuse me for a second, my nose really itches. Always at the worst time, isn't it? So I was dumping my computer, reinstalling it, and they said, "Oop, you've used the license too many times." What? I paid for the program. I should own it. Nope. Okay, whatever. So I got to get an editing program so I could put these two together. But I don't, so they're going to be two different videos. So, my last video, I was explaining how my time is taking up helping and responding to other people. Think of it as having a totally separate blog. So now I have two blogs I'm on. I'm not the admin of that blog, but I'm on it so much, now that people are coming to me constantly. And after what happened the last 3 days, I still have 15 open tabs from this morning I haven't gotten to. And that's what I want to explain. Why I've been so deficient on my own blog, which is very important to me. You people are important to me. But I have an issue I'm trying desperately to deal with, and Ron is getting very concerned. In fact, I'll explain later, he wants me to take drastic action. I'm not in that place yet. So anyway, one of I was describing how they have a rule. Any new person you can't off-site to. And if the person and you are both been on the site for more than 3 months, but you haven't communicated, you can't off-site to, at least openly. There's a workaround. What most of us do is put our blogs or whatever in our profile underneath where it says display when you post or reply. So when I make a reply, it automatically comes up, best wishes, hugs, new line, Scotty, new line, Scotty's Playtime. If you follow that, right up at the top of my blog is my email address. That's how people find me. From there, I can give them my private chat information. By the way, if any of you would like to privately chat, then you're afraid that such things that you might say would be detrimental to you should the government or whatever find out for any reason, contact me. I'll give you that information. Okay, so having said that, let's go back to the situation I'm in right now. One of the newer people contacted me. He got my information from one of the older people I was communicating offline with. And this young man has a horrific story. And I feel so bad for him. He thinks mine's worse, but on the site, one of the first things you learn is trauma is trauma. We don't compare. Mine was worse than yours. Yours was better than mine. We don't do that because every individual is different. We all react in different ways. What affects me might not affect you. So, anyway. Now remember, I've not been sleeping. That's an important part of this. So, me and this young man contacted me, asked if it was okay to talk to me, and I said, sure, of course. I say young man, he's only a dozen years younger than me, not even that. Okay? He just turned 56 and I'm going to turn 62. So, but he was kidnapped and tortured at age 7, and I'm not telling anything private about him because he's posted this on our site. So if you go to our site, I say our site, Lord have mercy on my soul. If you go to my site, if you go to the male survivor site, you can find him. I'm just not going to give the name out. He was kidnapped at 7 from a highly religious family by a well-respected member of their church who was into an organized child sex ring. They tortured him and trained him to be a sex toy, playing on his fears of demons and hell. And so it warped his entire life. He was kept a prisoner there, being forced to service sex parties, and not just with people, with animals. And he was trained to appreciate it and trained to respond to please the men. Remember, this is a 7-year-old. His programming now is to please the man who's raping him or deep-throating him. And that is hard. I was forced to do it. The training for that is just keep sticking your fingers and bigger objects back into your throat until you stop throwing up. You can figure how that goes. So anyway, he was released suddenly after 3 months. Nobody explained anything to him. He remembers only being at his front yard. His parents came out to get him, refused to tell him anything, don't even acknowledge his kidnapping. So there was something going on there, because these kids that are taken that way are not released. They're used, abused, and if needed, disposed of. In fact, he saw a kid killed in front of him for not cooperating, not being willing to be trained. And they made him watch in that as they killed this kid, this other boy, his age, 7 or 8. I'm trying not to be too graphic here, but you have to understand why I've been spending so much time with this person. So, after that, his life as a kid kind of went off the rails. His parents were narcissistic, highly evangelical. Their lives revolved around the church and an appearance they were keeping up that wasn't true. So now he is in middle school, 13 years old. Another boy takes an interest in him. He craves sex. He was trained for 3 months. Just a second. I remembered to hit the pause button this time. Ronnie had a question. So anyway, he was trained to respond to the cues, of the man raping him. If they wanted interaction, he interacted. He did what they wanted to please them and get off. If they wanted him just to lay there and be a receptacle, he would do that. So, intense training. So he got to be a 13-year-old or whatever, another middle school kid, and the kid got interested in him as a friend. He thought it was a friend. And remember, when you've been abused, it messes with your mind. You're on kind of a spectrum. Reality is different for those of us that have been abused than it is for other people when we're children. I don't think I ever started to grow up or be a real person till well in my 30s, maybe even starting my 40s, So, again, when he was 13 in middle school, another boy talked him into playing a game. Show me your wiener, I'll show you mine. Then it's whoever has the bigger wiener gets to do this. And the boy started fucking him. And the person I'm talking to was okay with that. He liked it. He liked the sensation. His body had been taught to crave it. And so, one day though, because he has an issue with his intestines and his bowels, one day when they were together, he told the other boy, "No, not today, because I'm not feeling well, I'm hurting, and I don't want to do it." And the boy overpowered him and raped him hard. And then from then on, for 6 months, the boy just took him, raped him. No pretense of friendship or whatever. Later on in his life, his parents, being highly religious and super judgmental, could not accept they had a son who was gay. So he had to move out. He had nowhere to live. He had no money. He's an emotional wreck, PSTD, and physical ailments. He can't really work, but was trying. So he didn't have a lot of money in that. And wouldn't you know it, the people that look for boys or people like that as a teenager. Oh, I missed one of the things. As a teenager in high school, the high school quarterback just started raping him. And even anyway. But so, as an adult now in his 20s, he's moved into an apartment, and the guy was abusive, knew he was an abuse victim, and pimped him out. He didn't appear to have a choice in his mind, so he allowed it. Then he left there after as many months as it took, and he found somebody he felt attracted to in that, and that person started them on a life where if he sexually used him and that, okay, they're in a relationship. But if somebody else came over to the house and wanted to have a go at his ass or his mouth, the boyfriend was like, "Sure, go ahead, you do it." And he felt he had no choice. And so he spent years, many, many years, almost a decade, wearing no clothes in the house and being available to all his boyfriend's friends. So, as I tell you all this, 14 minutes long, to explain why he is devastated right now. The memories of his childhood only recently, within the last year, surfaced. The memories as an adult he knew, but he was trying to reconcile in himself. So, what have I been doing? Well, for the last 2 weeks, and this last week especially, he's needed to talk. He's needed to express things. So I get up, and lately, because I'm not sleeping, it could be 12:30 like it was last night, and I get up and I sign into my computers, put them back online, and go to the MS site, load up everything I haven't seen. So I might have 10, I might have only 8, but I've never had less than like 8. But sometimes if I didn't catch everything, it was a busy day or whatever, I might have 20 new threads, posts on that site. And so I read them and respond to them. At some point, this young man is going to chime into me and want to talk. Or, young man, again, he's 56. Sorry, I just feel old. And so I will talk to him. And lately it's gone from 20 minutes to an hour to an hour and a half to 2 hours, 3 hours. And the night before we were on for like 4.5 hours as he was trying to deal with things. He's having a crisis right now. He doesn't, it's almost like he's seriously on the spectrum. As Barry explained to me, and I am so grateful for Barry helping me understand how autistic people are disadvantaged in our neural normal society. Oh, that didn't come out right. That wasn't the right way to say it. But Barry calls him and people like him neurodivergent. So maybe I should say non-divergent people, because I in no way want to imply that neurodivergent or autistic people need to be cured. That is a falsehood I want to do everything I can to dispel. That's like saying gay people need to be cured. Anyway, so he got triggered by something. He was very upset. The night before, I had spent like 3.5, 4 hours with him. And I hadn't slept. I'd gotten 3 hours of sleep that day. I got 1 hour of sleep this morning. So let me set the stage. I got 3.5 hours. I got up at 12:30. No, I woke up at 12:30, got up at 1. And I fed cats, cleaned cat boxes. We have cats. What are you going to do? They come first. And I went on the MS site and put tabs, opened all the tabs for that. And then this gentleman chimed in and asked if he could talk again. And he was so upset, so distraught. I talked to him for an hour and a half over things, and I didn't really feel we were making headway, but it was comforting to him. I was getting so tired, but okay. I can stretch myself for somebody else to help them. Side note, my friend Randy, who posts on the blog, and I think I've mentioned this before, when I had my meltdown burn down in 2013, 2014, where I got to the point where the memories were so bad and that I couldn't leave the bedroom. I laid there not wanting to exist. I was not suicidal, I'm not saying that, but I didn't want to be. And I just laid on the bed. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't watch TV. I wouldn't leave the bedroom. If Ron could get me to eat, he had to give it to me in the bedroom. And Randy and I had made friends, online friends. That poor man, I can't thank him enough. He worked 12-hour night shifts in a grueling job, and he would stay awake hours and hours during the day to talk to me, to keep me to comfort me, and to keep me from self-harming, because I was doing that again. I was cutting myself up to the point where the doctors had Ron hide all knives in the house from me. And as I didn't want to leave the bedroom, that wasn't hard. But he had to take his X-Acto knife tools and that out of where he was keeping them in the bedroom and that. So anyway, long story short, Randy was there for me. I want to be there for this person. I really do. And I feel called to it. And I like him. I want to be his friend. He thinks I'm one of his best friends. And I like that. I hope I can live up to it. So anyway, what happened was he chimed in. Hour and a half later, our connection dropped. That's one of the things you have issues with when you're dealing with these ultra secure secret programs. They can be touchy. And so I contacted him back, and he was so relieved. He thought I just had hung up on him, didn't want to deal with him anymore or anything. I said, relax, I'll never do that to you. If I don't want to talk, I'll tell you. So another hour and a half, so that's 6 hours. I haven't read the stuff I put up in the bar. I hadn't gone to my blog. I hadn't gone to Joe on my God's site. I haven't put any memes in. I hadn't posted anything. I had not read anything other than tried to help my friend. And I'd only had 3.5 hours sleep after days of not sleeping. So I was falling asleep at my desk. I was getting physically ill from lack of sleep. I was to the point of almost throwing up. So I finally, talked to him, told him my situation and that, and asked if he was okay, that I just needed to go lay down for 20 minutes before I got Ron and I up for our walk. He said, of course, sure. But I could tell he was disappointed. So I really needed to get something to eat. Oh no, I'm sorry. It wasn't 20 minutes before I had to get Ron up. Actually, this was before that. This was like 30 minutes before I had to get Ron up. So I rushed out to the kitchen after signing off with him, got myself a small thing to eat, and came back to my Pink Palace, which I know it doesn't look pink, but it's very pink if you live here. I look pink. The room should, not me. So anyway, and I got notices flashing up on the computer. He is crying. He's very distraught. He needs help right then. Of course. When somebody reaches out to you in that state, you respond. If you don't, you're not much of a person in my eyes. He was collapsing. His other friend who was on the line with him told him to reach back out to me because he couldn't help him. So I immediately got on the computer program with him. We talked for another nearly 30 minutes or whatever. And then my head was hitting the desk. I was so tired. But I got him in a good place, or at least a much better place than that. And I asked him, "Are you going to be okay?" And he was like, "Can't we talk more?" And I said, "Kamek, in the last 48 hours or whatever, I've had 3.5 hours sleep. I'm dying here." Shit. So, anyway, didn't mean to say part of what I just said, but I'm sure you'll all just ignore it. And instantly, he became the concerned friend for me because he's a survivor. And he was like, "Oh, no, no, you gotta sleep. Oh, I'm so sorry. Scotty, you can't do that to yourself. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And that's another thing survivors tend to do. We overreact and we're very apologetic. Some of us we go in two ways. Some of us become very concerned for other people. That's me. I care deeply, maybe too much. And others of us go the other way. We learn to put an iron mask on and a shield around ourselves so we don't care. All right, so I went to bed. I got an hour's sleep. I didn't go for a walk with Ron, but he said that was okay because he couldn't walk, his legs ached. So when I got up and was telling Ron about my night and that, he's already been very concerned about me not sleeping, to the point where he wants me to take one of my last resort muscle relaxers they gave me. And this one, on top of my other ones, puts me out. Bang. Take that, I'm gone. Okay? I don't really feel well after it kicks in because it's a very, very strong potent. Sorry. Rented this brain just last week and not used to it. It's a potent medication, and they only gave it to me because I have almost 2 decades, well, since 2009, history with them. So, a decade. I don't know, I don't do math. I'm kind of dyslexic with numbers. They all change around on me, and I can't get them in order. So anyway, they trust me. So they gave me this medication. I keep it, and Ron wants, but when I take it, it will put me down. Yeah, it releases the muscles, makes me feel great, pain-wise and that. But I'm not going to be up after I take it. Bye-bye, Scotty. So anyway, he wants me to do that. But when I was telling him the things we were talking about, he grew even more concerned. He's been wanting me to stop this communication for a while. He's noticed a decline in my own stability, a decline in my own mental health, and a resurgence of my own memories. So he again talked to me about how being on the site and reading and responding was affecting me. I'm having more nightmares, especially, and I'm having more emotional episodes, and how helping my friend, my new friend, is dragging me back through my own torment. And as he said, Scotty, you talked to me about your newest memories and your time on the site and your time with him is awakening a lot of things you hadn't remembered before. And he's very, very worried. So he's keeping an eye on me. my guardian, wonderful lover who also wants to double as my doctor, and my guard dog. I love him. But anyway, that's what I've been doing. That's what's been sucking up all my attention. This is a 30-minute video already. How do you guys let me ramble on this long? But thank you for letting me get that out, getting it off my chest. I appreciate it. You're wonderful, wonderful people. This has been a very personal video for me, talking about a subject that's very difficult. So, this is Scotty's Playtime. I do thank you for coming. I'm Scotty. As always, best wishes for everyone, and warm, loving, kind hugs for those who would like them.